Hello, everyone. Welcome to the launch of an exciting webinar series called Growing Your Business with FreePBX and PBXact. So the point of this webinar series is to help you all understand the power of both of our phone systems, FreePBX and PBXact, and what they do for your business. So we're going to be covering the features of each. In this webinar, what we're going to do is help you understand the differences between FreePBX and PBXact. My name is Leo D'Alessandro. I'm one of the product marketing managers here at Sangoma. And I have here Todd Milbrand. He's our distribution sales manager. He'll be the MC for today. He will be presenting the webinar. And without further ado, let's jump into this because we have a lot of information to talk to you about. So Todd, go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Leo. And hopefully I'm a good MC and I dropped some knowledge on you folks today. So we are going to, as Leo said, cover FreePBX and PBXact. We're not going to do it from any particular person's perspective. We know on this call we have people that are hobbyists, people that are running their business on both of these platforms. And we know we have people that are selling these solutions. So this is just going to be knowledge and understanding what comes with FreePBX, what you can add on to FreePBX, how PBXact is the same yet different. And feel free to use the portion on the right hand within GoToWebinar to ask Leo questions as we go through this. We're going to go through a lot in the time frame that we have here. So as I'm going through things at a rapid pace, you're going to have information sent to you afterwards. So you're going to have links that are included in here, and you're also going to have a copy of the presentations. Don't feel that you need to start typing things out or trying to write as fast as possible. Quick, who we are. So Sangoma, we are a corporate, we are a public corporation, publicly traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange, about 150 million in revenue, been around for 35 years. We are the stewards of both Asterisk and FreePBX, as well as the manufacturers of PBXact, as well as a whole bunch of other products. Those products get used in competitors or co-opetition of ours. They get used in large carriers, get used in SMBs, everything from people at home to there are people or folks with thousands and thousands of users and phone calls using different parts of our portfolio. That portfolio can be everything from SIP trunks all the way to the PBX that we're going to be talking about today, SPCs in between the two that would go ahead and protect your environment, to endpoints, to cloud services. So we can be A to Z, or we can just be a piece of that puzzle. And today the puzzle we're going to focus on is the PBX, specifically FreePBX and PBXact. Now, we've got some handy resources that I'm going to keep referring to back to as we go through this. FreePBX.org, wiki.sangoma.com, portal.sangoma.com, and training.sangoma.com. So freepbx.org, this is going to be everything FreePBX. This is where you're going to go for lots of information. This is also where you're going to go if you go under downloads to download the software. Wiki, this is our knowledge base. You can search through here, go through everything, not just for PBXact and FreePBX, but all of our products. The portal, this is where you can go to manage all of your Sangoma products, including your FreePBX and PBXact instances. So when you hear me refer to the portal, this is what I'm referring to. If you don't have an account, you can sign up right here for free. And when you sign up there, that same login is going to work for Sangoma University. So that's training.sangoma.com. This is where you can go to, if you wanted to purchase training for in-person. We have those, but we have tons and tons of free courses on all of our products including both FreePBX and PBXact. And at the end, you can take a little test and get yourself a certification that you can then download and put up in your cubicle or on your wall or on a necklace around your neck if you want, to show the world that you have gone through those and you have been certified. Back to our presentation, we're going to start with Asterisk. So we are the stewards of open source Asterisk and FreePBX. A lot of times we get asked the question, well, why would I need FreePBX or PBXact when I can just go with Asterisk? Asterisk is a toolkit. It is all command line, and you certainly can download Asterisk and from a command line go ahead and configure yourself a PBX. Since it's a communications toolkit, you can use it to build out other things. For example, when you download an app and you go to log in, there's a verification code, and you get that text message with a bunch of numbers. Asterisk can be used to build things out like that. Now, the overwhelming majority of us are not command line Asterisk and Linux gurus, so Asterisk is just the engine, and FreePBX is the control center, right? It's the GUI. It allows you to go in and actually understand some things just by looking at it, not knowing code. FreePBX is by far the most predominant open source platform out there. We get about 20,000 downloads of it per month. We've got a couple million installs worldwide. And on top of Asterisk, since FreePBX sits on top of Asterisk, there's about 1.3 million lines of code that we have put in there. And as you're going to see with both of these, you can do quite a bit without ever spending a single dollar with us. To get started with FreePBX, the most road people start with is they go to freepbx.org. Remember that from our handy resources. Go to downloads, and you can download it right there. And what you're going to get when you do that download is what's known as a distro. It's not just FreePBX. It is an operating system that is based on Linux. It is Asterisk, and it is the FreePBX code. And it will go and install all of that for you. And whatever you put it on, whether it's a server, virtualized instance, an old PC you have in the basement, an old laptop, whatever was on there previously is going to be gone. So if you've got an old Windows PC and you're hoping to just run this with the distro, keep in mind, unless you somehow virtualize it on that old PC, it's going to erase everything that's on there. It is a full soup to nuts installation of everything you need to get started. Another way you can get started with FreePBX appliances or with FreePBX is by purchasing one of our appliances. We are the only company that is selling appliances that are made and designed specifically for FreePBX. And the money we make off of those goes back into the project. If we go back here, you see all those lines of codes, all those years of development we've put into it. It's not, developers cost money, right? We want to make sure those guys can put food on the table, can have a car, do things like that. So when you spend money here to get a FreePBX appliance, not only does it take out all of the guesswork as to whether or not a particular piece of hardware is going to work, that money also goes back into the project so that we can put more things in there for you. So what comes out of the box with FreePBX? That's a good question. Pretty much everything you need to run a small business. Everything here in white is just included with FreePBX. You don't have to spend a single dollar with us. Now, with us being a corporation, a business, and developers not being free, we do have to monetize the project, just like other open source projects are monetized. And the way we do that with FreePBX is we have add-ons. Those add-ons can be one of two things. It can be a feature enhancement. So typically that's something that is not within Asterisk that we built on top of it. And it can also be things to make your setup and management of the phone system a lot easier than what's there in the core system. But keep in mind, within the core system, you get all of this. Anything with call features, call screening, call forwarding, find me, follow me, fax the email, voicemail the email, wake up call, support for all of the different telephony protocols out there. You don't have to pay to be able to upgrade the system. You can go from 15, 16 when it comes out, or 14 to what's currently, we're on version 15. The ability to back up and restore, caller ID lookups. You even get conference bridges and a user control panel, which I'll go into in a moment. So we're going to talk more about PBXact towards the end, but I want people to begin before we even start to go into all the different portions of FreePBX to understand what PBXact is. So when I talk about monetizing the project by selling these various different modules, as you'll see when we start to go through those, you can purchase those a la carte, and you can purchase those in different bundles that we have put together. With PBXact, what you are getting is something that has the same code base as FreePBX. It is more commercially hardened, and the reason for that is we're usually about 6 months behind on version upgrades between FreePBX and PBXact. So it's the same code base. There are some slight differences in the interface that we'll also touch on. But on top of all that, all those a la carte modules or bundles we were talking about, and it's way more than 1,500, are included in base PBXact. And as you'll see as we get towards the end, in a lot of instances, if you are someone that needs more than just what's included in the base distro, PBXact, both in the short term and long term, can end up being less expensive for you than FreePBX. And before we go into those individual add-on modules, I just want to talk about what does come with FreePBX without having to purchase anything as far as unified communications are concerned. And that's going to be the user control panel. And I'm actually going to go into mine. Marketing does not like this when I do stuff like this. You can see I got the PowerPoint slide. They prefer I stick in my PowerPoint, but I actually want to show you guys user control panel live real quick. It's widget based. So what you're seeing on here, this is not a static screen. This is all stuff that I have decided to put in here and to arrange as I want to see it. So I've got things like contacts, SMS, which is only available if you're using our SipStation product, my call history, any calls that have been recorded, I can listen to those here, as well as call people back. I've got my voicemail in here, and you probably saw someone calling me earlier when I was getting started on this. You saw that pop up. If I wanted to call them back, I can do so right from here. There's an included softphone. You can literally download the distro and make and receive phone calls without downloading anything else, just by using the WebRTC phone that's included in here. And if I wanted to add more of these different widgets, I can come in here, choose one, and go ahead and put it wherever I want to. So if you want more information on that, wiki.sangoma.com, and go through the free PBX or PBXact training. So training.sangoma.com. All of that is part of Sangoma University, and this is all free. Only the in-person trainings that are listed over here have a cost associated with them. All right, so back to the slides that Leo and marketing loves. We're going to start talking about the add-ons in FreePBX. So those feature enhancements, those system management enhancements. And we'll start with the most popular one, which is our EndPoint Manager. So if you're using a Sangoma branded phone, so that would be both our S series and the formerly known as Digium, but now Sangoma D series phones, EndPoint Manager is free. And what does EndPoint Manager do? It allows you to very quickly set up, build templates and configuration files for your phones, as well as manage things going forward, such as your firmware or any changes to that template or the setup on the screens. If you want to use another manufacturer's phones, we have 20 plus included manufacturers, 300 plus supported devices. And when these manufacturers become a part of EndPoint Manager, it's not just because we made a choice and said, hey, we're gonna go to SNOM and we're gonna use their phones. We work closely with SNOM. In order for them to be in that EndPoint Manager, they need to provide us with hardware resources as well as engineering and support resources so we can make sure that these devices work as expected for folks. Now, you may be wondering, well, what if a particular phone I want to use or endpoint I want to use isn't in EndPoint Manager? Not a problem. You can still set that up manually. It's just not supported, and it's not something you can do in EndPoint Manager. So if you've got device A, as long as it supports SIP or EEX, IAX2 trunking protocol, you can use that device and get it set up. It does become cumbersome if you're doing lots of that type of device. So if you had 50 endpoints like that on a system, it becomes hard to manage without EndPoint Manager. So we're going to start to talk about the bundles, and as part of going through the bundles, we're going to go through the individual items that you can purchase a la carte. So we put these bundles together. As you can see, if you were to buy these a la carte on the 25-year license, it would be about $464. This particular bundle, the starter bundle, is $299 when you buy all of these together. So it's a way to provide people with some better value. When you buy a 25-year license at $299, you get 1 year of updates and commercial module support. Any updates you would want on those modules afterwards, you do have to pay a module renewal price. And if you go to the wiki, so again, wiki.sangoma.com, type in module renewal, and it'll show you how you can do that. And the pricing is going to be based on either 18% or 33% of the price of the module. And if you go with the 1 year license at $149, you have access to the module for 1 year, and you get updates and commercial module support for 1 year. At the end of 1 year, you would either lose access to it, or you would need to renew it. You would again get another year of that. One other thing to point out before we start going into individual modules, on the 25-year license, if you do not renew your module, you still have access to it. It still works. You have a 25-year license. You just don't get those updates. And if you happen to keep your free PBX up to date, maybe go from what we're on now, which is version 15 to 16 or 17 in the future, certain updates and upgrades might be needed in order for that module to still work. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So if you don't renew your modules, you may want to stay on the version of FreePBX that you're on. So let's start with Conference Pro. You get conference bridges as part of FreePBX, but if you need additional granularity, so for example, within user control panel, I can see who is in a conference bridge. I can mute them. I can kick them out. I get additional control. I also have my own automatically assigned conference bridge. So if you have a large organization or just someone is going to be using conference bridges quite regularly, you may need enhanced functionality beyond what is available in the distro download. Extension routing, if you want to limit what certain people can access, Specifically, if you don't want someone to be able to fax or do international phone calls, extension routing is how you can limit that. You can say this group of people or individuals can do this group cannot. Faxing Pro, so we do include the ability with FreePBX for a fax to come in and get sent to you via email. Now, if you want to send faxes, you do need the Faxing Pro module. And if you want to be able to do it from user control panel, you will need that as well. It also gives you the ability to archive and manage your faxes, as well as to manage your cover pages. Paging and intercom both come in the distro, but some folks do have the need for additional functionality beyond that, and that's where Paging Pro comes in. Valet style would be like what you see at the airport, where somebody picks up a phone, says something for a couple of minutes, hangs up, and then the announcement goes out. You can also schedule pages or announcements. That's huge in education. A lot of different schools we have seen over the years have actually just used this module to replace their bell system. And then also, this module will allow you to hook into outbound routes. And what people are looking for there and use that for is if someone calls 911, especially in a school setting, you can set it so a specific group of extensions or just an extension get a page over their phones that says extension 222 or whatever it happens to be is just dialed emergency services. Press *1 to start listening to that call now, which if you work in a front office of a school is huge, right? To not have emergency services show up and you have no idea what's going on. You hear that broadcast, you hit *1, you know what's going on, and you've probably already implemented some of your emergency procedures and can very quickly get those first responders over to the correct classroom or correct part of the school. Parking, if you're not familiar with parking, you can think of it like putting a call on hold just to the phone system. An example of why you may want to park a call would be to have somebody pick it up at another extension. If I were to go from the front of the office to I wanted to talk to someone in the warehouse, but then retrieve a call there, I may park it. That's available in the distro. Parking Pro gives you additional functionality, specifically the automation of call parking, where you can make it a single step, multiple parking lots, and park and announce, where you can actually put something in a particular parking lot and it will go and page people to let them know, hey, there's somebody holding here specifically for this department or this individual. Sysadmin Pro, when you purchase one of our appliances, not only does that money go back into the project, and not only does the money you buy from commercial modules go back into the project, but when you buy a appliance, it comes with Sysadmin Pro. And this gives you a bunch of management features for $25, including very easy setup of a dynamic domain service so that you can access things like user control panel or the PBX using a domain name as opposed to just an IP address. So the next step up from the starter bundle, and one thing I want to point out here with the bundles, the advanced bundle is just the modules we're going to go over here. It does not include what was in the starter bundle. It's not something that progressively includes everything. These are separate bundles that we put together based on what we were seeing in the marketplace of people, what they were typically buying together. So it's in the advanced bundle. Again, there is here close to a $600 savings versus if you were to buy these a la carte on their own. Appointment reminder, we've seen this a lot for service-based organizations, doctors, lawyers, haircut places, where you can go in, you can upload a CSV file that will then go out and call everyone on that list. It will play an automated message. It will let them know you're calling to confirm an appointment Tuesday at 1. Press 1 to actually confirm that appointment. Press 2 if you want to talk to someone to reschedule it. Caller ID management allows you on the fly to change the caller ID you're using. So my caller ID here at work begins with a 920. And if I wanted to change it to something based out of Toronto, if I had access to it to call Canadian customers, I can do that. We see this typically used in call centers where people want to ensure that whoever they're calling actually picks up the phone, because the natural human reaction at this point is to see a phone number not from your area code and to hit decline. Class of service allows you to take a lot of the functionality that we have here and restrict it based on individuals or groups. So it allows you to apply different things as to what you can see and or access within the phone system. Call recording reports. You can record calls in the phone system in FreePBX. As you saw when I was in the user control panel, you can listen to them there. Without this module, you'll need to go into call detail records and search for individual call recordings and listen to them there. Call recording report actually brings everything into a report, and it allows you to very quickly find things based on phone number dialed or where it was 2 times, things of that nature. More and more folks are wanting their phone system to integrate with other applications. So we went and built out CRM Link. CRM Link allows you to do things like make it where if I were to call into an organization, if they're using Salesforce or Zoho or Sugar CRM, based on what they tell it to do when they pick up the phone, it'll already bring up my record. There's no searching for it. There's no, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I can't find you. It pops it up based on whatever variables they choose. We wrote it for the big ones here, but we also have an API. So if you have a CRM or a tool where you want to integrate it with the phone system, we have an API you can write to integrate lesser known or more industry specific things. PinSet Pro is a way for you to put a PIN number in to access certain features. So you may only want certain folks calling internationally occasionally. You want to give those folks a PIN number to put in. This will also allow you to see if they're sharing that PIN number with others, right? That's typically happens in an organization. Oh, John, you need to make an international call. They won't let you. It's blocked by extension routing. Here, use my PIN code. It allows you to report on that and make sure that that's not happening, or at least if it's happening, it's not egregious. Voicemail notification is something we actually wrote for ourselves. It's a great answering service replacement. The way it works is you call into a queue, ring group individual, goes to a voicemail. The voicemail will get left, and it will then try to find someone to take ownership of the voicemail. And this will be based on parameters that you set, but you can set it to call individuals on their work phones, on their cell phones, wherever you have it. Once they take ownership, you will then get a report that'll tell you who it rang, who didn't answer the phone. You can even see if somebody answered the phone, listen to the voicemail, and said, I don't want to deal with this, and either hung up or didn't accept it. But most importantly, it solves the issue of both an answering service as well as getting voicemails that are left for a group out. So an example would be a sales manager. Somebody looking to buy something really quickly. Well, that sales manager is in meetings for 6 hours, gets out, listens to the general voicemail box, and then starts doling things out just for you to find out they already bought from a competitor. You can avoid that with voicemail notifications. Voicemail reports allows you as an admin to look at people's mailboxes, manage all of that, see who's actually set up their passwords or their name or their busy message or their unavailable message. And it also allows you to very quickly fix those things. Like, hey, I'm not getting my voicemails. Like, oh, you did this while you were on vacation and that was wrong and you never fixed it. Let's go ahead and get that fixed. Web callback allows you to put some code into your website. So if you're a car dealership and you want to pop something up that says, talk to me about this 1995 Dodge Neon, you want to buy it, click here to call, you put your phone number in, you click to call, the phone system will then call whatever phone number has been put in there. And that's a part of the advanced bundle. But again, you can also buy that a la carte if needed. And so lastly, we're going to start to go over what's included in the call center bundle. The FreePBX distro has the majority of what you need included for free to run a call center. There's call queues, call recording, things of that nature. But we do have some specific individualized modules here to make both setup and management easier, but also to do things like reporting and advanced features. Starting with the broadcast dialer, which is not a predictive dialer. This is different. A predictive dialer will take things like the numbers you're calling, who you're calling, how long you've been on a phone call, and predict that, you know, every 30 seconds an agent will be available, and we'll make X number of calls to make sure someone's available to maximize their time. The broadcast dialer is going to dial every number that you input into it. And it's also something you can either upload manually or you can automate it for a calling list. But you're gonna go through it. When you get to the next call, you're gonna hear ringing. It may go to answering machine or elsewhere, but it is not a predictive dialer. You can limit your outbound calling. So if you only have a specific number of trunks or you're trying to limit the number of trunks that are in use, that is where outbound call limiting would come into play. If you want reports on your queues, you're going to need to either take certain data and put it into a reporting software that'll still be missing some things, or you can add PBXact reports. And this will allow you to see an individual agent's activities. This will allow you to see how a queue is doing overall, and you can build out all sorts of various templates based on all the variables we put in there for that report. Q Pro, or BQ Plus, the big thing here is Q Callbacks. So when you call your cable company because you're just happy with them and you want to tell them so, and they tell you that it's going to be an hour wait, if you press 1, they'll call you back when you're next in line. That's Q Callbacks. And you know, this can allow your business of 20 people seem a lot bigger by having a feature like this. I've seen it used in places you wouldn't think, such as I'm going to go back to education here. Colleges, like bursars or the registrar's office, they'll actually use Q callbacks at the beginning of the school year because all the parents who sent an email didn't get a response in 20 seconds immediately call in. So this allows them to keep those people somewhat from getting frustrated by not having to wait in a queue for half an hour by just pressing 1 and getting a call when they are next in line. And we also have the Q wallboard. So you can run this on your PC within user control panel. You can also get user control panel running on a flat screen TV with a Google Chromecast or just using your smart TV in a browser. And it allows you to put a lot of the data you would get in PBXact reports in real time up for everyone to see. And it does have the ability to pull from multiple PBX instances. So if you've got a distributed call center, either across the world, across the country, across the city, you can pull that information in and see all of that live. And then lastly, before we go into a product we have called Zulu, just want to touch on a product we have called Front Desk, Sangoma Property Manager. When you go to a hotel and you call the room service and they say, yes, Mr. Milbrand, what can I get for you tonight? That's because the phone system is integrated with a property management system. So a lot of smaller hotels, bed and breakfast, things of that nature, property management systems are expensive. So we built this out to use with PBXact and FreePBX. You can get accounting reports to see how many phone calls somebody made from their room. You can have your housekeepers actually log into user control panel and state this room has been cleaned, this room is ready for occupancy. The best part about this particular product, it's 10 beds or less. It's free. All right, so I'm about to go into Zulu UC. Zulu is our productivity tool for the desktop and mobile phone that allows you to very quickly see someone's on a phone call, if someone's showing that they're present or available, and it allows you to decide how you're going to communicate with them, right? So whether you're going to send them a quick chat, whether you're going to call them, maybe call them on their mobile phone, and you can use this on any of the major available clients. We don't support Windows Phone or BlackBerry, but at least on the desktop, Windows, Mac, and Linux. And you know what? Marketing wants me to go through slides like these. They hate when I do this, but you guys deserve better than me going through 20-something slides and boring you. So I'm going to bring up my Zulu real quick. And as you can see, this is something you can resize. I've got it maximized because I'm doing this for our call. And over here on the left-hand side is where you choose who you want to interact with or what you're actually going to interact with. I've got it set up so that I'm using my desk phone. So I've got a Sangoma IP phone on my desk. When I go to call somebody, it will actually ring in my ear, or it'll ring my phone and I can pick it up. But you can turn this into using just the soft phone. Which, there we go. Default call advice. This is also a soft phone on both desktop and mobile. If I come over here under activity, you know what? Let's find DJ Leo. There he is. So when I find Leo over here on the interaction screen, it's going to change everything. You can see where we interacted in our 9 a.m. webinar. And speak of the devil, you can also see that we're interacting now. And I can see he's available because that's what he has set for his presence. If I want to change mine, I'll set it to do not disturb. That will actually put my phone on do not disturb as well. And if I wanted to call Leo, I'm like, oh, you know what? He's not on a phone call. I see that he's available. I come over here and I can call him at his extension. If I want to start sharing my screen with him, which is in beta, hopefully coming out later this year, I can do that. Video is also being tested as well for later this year. But I can also come here, send him a fax. I can search within all of our interactions, which you can see everything has been logged. I can even see voicemails that I've left for him. And if needed to, I can share a GIF with him, an emoji, or what would actually make this a productivity tool is if I, shared a file with him. If I can go here and send him these slides to send out to you guys when we're all done. Now, if I was just calling someone not within my organization, I can go to the keypad and I can put their phone number in here. I can then also add them as a contact. I've got a history of everything. If I want to call someone back, I can go there, and I can also see our interactions, even though they're not within the organization. Even though the majority of people are going to do voicemail to email, I can also manage it here and delete it off of the server here. And as you saw a moment ago, I can search for things. So if I search for Leo, there is actually a room called Leo. So not only do we have this one-to-one chatting, we also, Leo's not even in his own room. We also have group chats, right? So if you've got folks that are working on a project together, working on things remotely, or just a team wants to be able to interact and ask each other questions, you can create these rooms and make them either public or private so that folks can have those different types of interactions. So as with most things on here, use those handy resources I was talking about. Wiki.sangoma.com. Just go to sangoma.com. We've got videos on Zulu. If you go through the training, there's things there as well. I do not have the ability to do a live demo of Zulu UC, so just quickly want to go through these slides. And once we're done with that, we're going to touch more base on PBXact and finish things up. So if you want to go ahead and set up Zulu within UCP, you can actually generate a QR code, scan it, and it sets it up for you. Easy peasy right there. You get the ability to control your presence just like you do on the desktop. You can make and receive phone calls using your phone extension. You can put those calls on hold. You can mute those calls. You can put it on Bluetooth if needed. You can transfer those calls. You can make calls outside of your organization, so not just those within. You can see, like I was able to see whether or not Leo was on a phone call. You can see that from the mobile phone, get additional contact info, see your call history, voicemail, just like we were talking about, and my favorite, online chat. For myself, every time I get on a plane for work, I land, I open up my email, and it seems like the whole world is blown up, and I need people to help me. In the past, what I'd have to do, I'd have to get off the plane, open up my laptop, wait for Windows to power up, go through the fun of connecting to an airport Wi-Fi, hoping I chose the right one and that it's secure, bring up Zulu, and then start trying to find someone in a department that can help me. I would then get to the baggage claim, usually later than I should have, and have to go to the actual airline, the part near baggage claim where they keep all the unclaimed baggage, and go get my baggage. Now, when that happens, I get off, I go onto my Zulu mobile, I find someone in the department I need to interact with, and before I've even gotten to baggage claim, things are taken care of for me. I love it. It's been a godsend for me. File share, I believe this might be in beta, but you can share files across devices, regardless of whether it's mobile or desktop. Those interaction histories are going to be there in mobile, and more is going to be coming over the next year in the Zulu. So keep an eye out for those updates. If you want to go ahead and try it, go to portal.sangoma.com. Remember, I showed you guys that. It's free to register, and you can get yourself a 2-user license for free to test all of these out. It's a 1-year license. On FreePBX, you've got up to 20 users. It's $199 a year. A 1,000-user license for a year is $19.99. And before you ask, Leo, within the chat, if you have 50 users, you're going to stack those 20-user ones. You would go with 3 of those for $597 or whatever the math is there. You don't need to go with the 1,000-user one. You just stack the 20s. And then as it relates to PBXact, which we're about to get into, all of those systems come with Zulu. It is included in the cost. And lastly, as it relates to FreePBX and some of the things we just went over, we do have several of these modules that you can trial yourself. If you want to trial the reports, you can do so. Q callbacks within Q Pro, you get a 1-month trial, see if it works for you, see if you're happy. And all of that is going to be through portal.sangoma.com. And if you go to the Wiki, which I will do right now, purchase a module. We've got a walkthrough there. If you've never done it, we've got a walkthrough there. And also, if you go to Sangoma.com, there's phone numbers you can call us at. We've got a chat that will walk you through it. We've got sales reps that will help you through it. If you don't want to read through this or you just have issues with it, get in touch with us. We will help you get started on that. All right, so the last part of this, and then we will wrap things up and make these recordings available within the next day or so and get you over these files. So FreePBX and PBXact, they're the same code base. They have a slightly different look, just based on colors and the way the GUI is done, but it's the same code base. When we develop FreePBX, when we do all those lines of code, it goes through a very rigorous QA process before we even go to alpha, or then beta, or then general release. But what we do then is a lot of people are like, you know what? I'm going to upgrade to 15, which is the version we're on. I understand the possible ramifications of that. This just came out like a week ago, but I'm okay with that. I'll report bugs back to Sangoma, and we take all those bug reports, and it allows us to release a commercial version of FreePBX called PBXact that has next to 0 bugs or issues. Obviously, with software, there's always going to be bugs and issues, but it allows us to take those real-world scenarios and eliminate a ridiculous amount before it even goes to the commercial version. Now, we do some additional things within PBXact to make it easier for people to configure things. First off, by including all of those modules, right? You may not realize right off the bat, like, oh, I might need Paging Pro. I might need this. I might need that. And before you know it, you buy a bundle. You've got all of these licenses starting to build up. So right off the bat, we give you Zulu UC and about $1,500 worth of modules. You can then add on the EndPoint Manager, and you can add on the call center stuff. And what you're going to see is that PBXact, if you're going to be buying modules from both an upfront cost as well as ongoing costs, it's going to cost you less. And if you do have FreePBX now, it's a super simple upgrade path to PBXact because it is based on the same exact code base. And all of that can be found in training.sangoma.com and the wiki on how to do that. Or again, if you've got some questions, engage us in chat, call into one of our phone numbers. We are here for you. But if you buy an appliance, and especially if you're looking at an appliance, a FreePBX appliance or PBXact appliance, I'm going to go ahead and compare the two here in a moment. But with PBXact, with it being commercial and wanting people to go with the commercial product, we've built in a very simple setup configuration wizard. If you have 10 users, you should be done in 10 minutes, even if you didn't go through the training. We give you a simple configuration dashboard. You can go to the normal dashboard, which has access to everything. We call that advanced mode. But once you have a phone system set up, typically after that, the changes you're going to make are not major changes. It's putting a new person in, changing the music on hold. And with both FreePBX and PBXact, the administration, you can make it so that specific people can only access certain things. So with a school, which I don't know why I keep using schools for these examples, it's probably because it's that time of year when they're all looking at buying our phone systems. If you want to give the music teacher access to music on hold, and they can take things they're practicing for the upcoming school concert and change that to the music on hold, or even better, give the receptionist access just to this module, and they can go ahead and update it weekly, letting people know that call in happen to get put on hold about the upcoming events, homecoming game, the lacrosse game, the hockey game, basketball game, what have you. And if you're not familiar with FreePBX, you may not know what I'm talking about here, but those of you that have used FreePBX are very, very familiar with a pane like this on the right-hand side, where you're looking and there's just rows upon rows and columns of things you can configure. A lot of granularity, which people love, but it's not always needed. So with our easy mode, you can take something that has lots of different input and things to go through and boil it down to just what 99% of the population needs. And then you can add on some additional items, such as call center and third-party device support, which is the EndPoint Manager we talked about earlier. Call center is going to add on things like call queues, the broadcast module, things like that. As you're going to see here in a moment, with all of this, it turns out to cost less. So for example, on a PBXact 100 appliance, and the 100, what that stands for is 100 users. It's a guideline. You can put more on it. You can use less. Call center would be $598, which means $598 plus the cost of the PBXact 100 itself, and you have pretty much every single module that we make. You add on what we refer to as a peace of mind package, and you're going to get updates and upgrades. You're also going to get a little bit of support credit there, and you're also going to get service level agreements. So with Platinum, if you have a system down emergency at midnight, you'd be able to call in and begin to get support on that. So let's go ahead and look at the appliances and look at the delta in price. So 100 user and below, so the 75, 60, 40, and 25, adding on call center, so this pricing is going to apply, $150, $225 a year for the pump, $598 for the call center add-on. And if you compare that to a FreePBX appliance, for $300 extra, you're getting Zulu and thousands of dollars worth of modules. For updates and upgrades going forward, you're guaranteed these prices. So it's not like FreePBX where you add on different modules, and if you want to renew them, it's either 18 or 33% to renew them for updates and upgrades. And then as they get higher, those costs will go up, but it will never cost more than what FreePBX is. So you're probably asking yourself, if I'm looking at an appliance, why does Sangoma want to make the commercial version upfront so enticing? Why are they trying to get me to go with that? And the answer there is finding someone to support FreePBX and PBXact. That's not something where we can just pull a recent college grad off of the street, give them a week of training, and have them go. When you engage with our support, you're not getting the guy that tells you to unplug it and plug it back in. And By the way, if they do tell you that, don't come back to me and say, I thought I wasn't going to get that. That may actually be needed, but you're not getting that level of support guy. You're getting guys that in other organizations are level 2, level 3, or engineers. These guys have been working with Asterisk, FreePBX, and PBXact, a lot of them over a decade plus. And what we have found is someone that goes with PBXact, which is more commercially hardened like that. They're getting updates and upgrades, and they're saying, I'm using this in my business and I want to ensure that it works. That when those folks do need support, it's less often, it takes less time. So it is to our benefit to not have to keep finding more and more guys. I mean, we do keep selling more phone systems, and that is, we are constantly adding to support. But to limit the amount, we would prefer people to go to PBXact when appropriate. Whereas folks with FreePBX, we do see more support incidents that are more involved. So at this point, I know Leo has been answering questions as they have come in through the webinar. Anything you've seen, Leo, that keeps getting repeated you want to go over?
Well, actually, there's been too many questions that I can handle because we have hundreds of people on this call. There were just some questions about Zulu and some other items that you actually covered. But in terms of any repeated questions, I think we've taken care of them by you saying them or me answering them on the chat. Yeah.
Awesome. And one thing I want to point out, just, I'm talking about PBXact here. Some of the reasons why we're trying to entice people to go to go to PBXact. We still love the community, and we still love all the folks that just download it and use it for whatever, and continue to do that. Continue to be a part of the community. Go to freepbx.org. Buy a shirt. Leo is the one that designed some of these pretty sweet shirts we have.
We have an online store for FreePBX and PBXact and Sangoma. So show your pride with FreePBX shirt. But yeah, everyone. So I mean, we consistently keep adding features to FreePBX and PBXact. Sometimes it's on a monthly basis. So when you invest in FreePBX or PBXact, you can be rest assured that you do have a solution for life. And because this is a solution from Sangoma, you can be rest assured that the other equipment and the other telecommunication features that we have and support and come out with will work with your FreePBX or PBXact system. And I think Todd mentioned it, but if you do have FreePBX and you're interested in PBXact, we have a very easy way to upgrade. It's just an upgrade license that that's all you need from your end, and our engineers in the back end have it automatically set up so that when you plug in that license, it automatically converts your FreePBX system into a full-fledged PBXact system. So you get everything, and all it is by plugging in a license. The only thing you have to do is purchase it, pretty much. So, yeah. And it works with your own system as well as if you have a FreePBX appliance from Sangoma.
I want that freedom to choose mug. Please make that happen for me, Leo.
Yeah, yep, I'll get on that.
But keep in mind, we are a organization of several hundred people committed to open source. Call us, chat with us, email us, engage with us, and we will guide you to the best solution, which may not always be PBXact or something with modules. We might be able to tell you, hey, you don't need any modules. It's for free in the distro. So with that, I want to apologize for going an hour. All of the future ones, which will build off of this, will be half an hour to really go over the full size and scope of everything that we wanted to include in here. We did need to go an hour. So I want to thank you guys for your time. Anything you want to add there, Leo?
No, just to let everybody know that the registration that you signed up for this webinar is for the next 5. So you are automatically going to get an email reminder for the next one that comes up in 2 weeks from now. I believe it's February 19th. So you've signed up for the next 5, and then sometime around April, we'll send you another registration invitation for the next 5.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for your time. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you guys in a couple of weeks for the next one.
Yep. Thanks, Todd, for amazing presentation. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a good day.
Thanks.